crappy asshole. On the 14th floor and a bathroom door don't lie. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the police mix, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. Now she walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's pantless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 139 of Phired Up. Check us out at firedupsports.com. I'm Mike Giletto. Joining me as always, Dom Consul and Chris Lucia. What's going on, fellas?
Yo.
Oh man, it's quite the day. Flyers big win last night. We could totally bury the lead about the Eagles. We could totally bury the lead, and nobody wants to hear about the Eagles right now. Flyers are hot. Sixers won a game. Things are fine, right? Things are fine in the city.
Sixers are hot.
Sixers are hot, exactly.
They're playing the champs tonight.
Yeah, what's the score of that game?
It was tied at half.
It's 87-83 Sixers.
Okay, nice. Still a lot of time left.
Three minutes. Yeah, three minutes in the third quarter.
Yep, so that game hasn't even started yet. Yeah, I mean, where'd you guys want to take this? I mean, do you want to kind of just tackle? No pun intended. Tackle the Eagles first.
If we do that, we'll be doing something better than the Eagles did. We'd actually probably
there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, let's get into it. What a way for the season to end here, right? I mean, I feel like everybody kind of expected it, and I was just texting with Dom right before we got on in another group chat that we're in, and I said, like, I'm not even angry at this point, because like I expected it. I saw from a mile away it was predictable.
You know
the way
what
this team is going to go out.
Do you know when you start feeling like crap around this time of the year, just like sick, and it starts in the back of your throat, and you just like know you're going to get sick, but you're just going to have to continue going anyway? Just like that's the way life goes. You just got to wait until you actually get sick to knock you out.
Yep.
That's what it felt like. Like the sickness finally came. Now we're on the road to recovery.
Right. The bird flu. We got the bird flu.
My response to that was, it's not so much angry that they lost, just angry at the way.
Dom, something's happening with your audio here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're good. I don't know. Chris, you heard that, right? That was weird.
Like crackling.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
All right. Yeah. So like my response was, it's not so much that I'm angry that they lost. I'm more angry about how it happened. The way their offense was supposed to be, just as good as it was last year. We knew the defense was going to give up points, but I honestly thought that the defense kept them in this game for most of the game.
They did. They absolutely did.
Like 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, and they scored a touchdown. The Godwin one was on a short field, right?
Right.
And then the touchdown after the safety was again on a short field, right? I think they were at the 50 after they got the ball. So, I mean, there was points that were going to be put up anyway. Probably.
And don't get me wrong. I think especially like the Byard missed tackle was horrible. There were a lot of missed tackles. Bradbury, I don't even want to like say his name anymore. They have to cut him, right?
They have to cut him.
He's owed so much money though. Like, what do you do with that dead cap?
You got to trade him for a conditional 7th round pick.
What team's taking that contract though?
He plays 10% of snaps next year.
Yeah, but what team's taking that contract?
You got to find somebody because he can't be on the team.
I think they cut him.
Like a post June 1 cut.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact like money they'd have to spend him, but it's not cheap in order to cut him. And I know they could kind of finagle things, restructure here or there. It sounds like it's almost definite that Kelsey's gone, so that saves you a little bit of money. So yeah,
I don't care how much it costs.
Yeah,
You
you
got
just
to
got to do it. Yeah, it's the same thing like Wentz. Like you just got to do it.
Then maybe this is too premature of a question, but then who's the replacement corner? Do you put one of these young guys, Ringo, in there, or do you go out and get somebody in the offseason?
I think you put Keely Ringo in there and you go draft one.
Yeah.
Just got to keep that farm going. Love it.
Yeah, then you're putting a lot of chips into the young guys, right? A second guy in Ringo, it's a guy you're going to draft. Like it's a young quarterback core at that point.
Are you firing Sirianni?
After Monday night's game, yes, I would, honestly.
Dom, are you firing Sirianni?
Dom, are you awake?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you was a long ass pause. You were staring at the space.
No, I think I'm delayed. I'm delayed, I think.
Are you firing him?
I think I'm delayed.
Yeah, you're firing Sirianni?
Can you guys hear me? Are we good?
Refresh your page, Dom. Refresh it.
Okay.
Oh man.
So I was thinking if you're firing Sirianni, it's a retool year anyway. Like you're basically telling the fan base like, hey, we're gonna need another year.
Well, that's the thing. Am I refiring him? Yes. I don't think the Eagles will.
And I think that's a good move.
To not fire him?
Yeah, I don't think you can, Mike. I really think that the issue with firing him is you're creating the situation that you've done already, where you're firing a guy who wins to replace it with another guy who comes in and wins, and then after the third year he's cut.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I think 2 weeks ago I brought up, I think this is a Jeff Lurie problem. Like, I think that there's something, and it could be a Howie Roseman problem, that there's something about he doesn't not know how to get the right guys in there to run a team. And it could be the fact that he doesn't go and get he never goes and gets big names. Like Chip Kelly was a big name, but he was coming out of the college ranks. He never goes and gets the guy who's proven it in the NFL. Like he would never go get Bill Belichick. Because if he went and got Bill Belichick, Howie Roseman wouldn't have a job.
Right.
Right.
I think Belichick's the wrong pick anyway, even not even just for that.
So I heard on my way home from work, I did the mistake of turning on WIP, and one caller said, "Give Harbaugh a blank check." That's not going to happen. Let's not do that.
I think they keep Sirianni. I think he's here for another year at least. But that's the thing. It's like if let's say next year the same thing happens, they start off really hot and then they blow it into the end. Or
we're having all sorts of audio issues with Dom.
Dom,
what's going on? I don't know what's going on with Dom's thing.
I don't know. It's fine on my end. I don't know.
No. It's just it sounds like your mic. I don't know. You sound robotic at one point. It might be your shitty Comcast
Is that
Wi-Fi.
better?
Yeah, I think so. For now.
Better?
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was I saying here?
You don't think they fire Sirianni?
So I don't think they fire Sirianni, but if they're mediocre again, like, then they fire him. Like, are they really going to let Howie pick a fourth coach? Like,
that's what I was just.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Like you're going to let him get his. The problem is you can't fire Howie Roseman. You can't, because you fire Howie Roseman, he has a job before tomorrow starts. You fire him tonight. He's hired and he's
but you don't fire a guy thinking what his next job. You don't care what his next job is.
I wouldn't, but does Jeff Lurie? Jeff Lurie looks like he tries to be the smartest guy in the room, and so does Howie Roseman.
See, I disagree with that. I think Howie. I agree with Howie.
I agree. I agree with Dom.
I think Jeffrey Lurie knows he's not the smartest guy in the room and says, "Here, Howie, run the team."
Yeah, but he gets a guy who's not a football guy to run the team. Like he's not a football guy.
Yeah, but
how many of these GMs are? Right. Yeah.
I think the more successful ones are. Look at San Fran with John Lynch. Look at Detroit, the GM who, what's his name, Aaron Glenn. These guys that started out Buffalo. Who's Buffalo? I can't think of who it is, but it's ex-players that like know these guys.
Yeah, but
just because you're ex-players doesn't mean anything,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Like look
I don't think
Joe Douglas. Joe
yeah.
Douglas, like
John Elway wasn't a great GM. Like
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there's an organizational issue, not so much a coaching issue. I think that there's
Organizationally, I kind of agree with. I think we're starting to see that Howie is the issue. But I don't know that I think it's overblown that Jeff Lurie gets in the way too much. I think he lets his guys do their job.
I think he does.
I agree with
too.
that.
I think he
Yeah.
does too. I just
But-
think. Sorry, Dom. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just think somewhere in the chain of command between Lori, Roseman, and there's probably somebody else up there that I can't think of right now that is like the senior president. There's some kind
Lurie's son's doing something in the front office, isn't he?
Is he? I know
Yeah.
he's like 19 or 20, right? He's
Is
like
he?
an intern.
Maybe he's not anything high, but he's up there somewhere.
There's some break in accountability somewhere in there. And I think it gets poor, as it gets down, it's easier to blame the coach because that's what we can all see. But where's the account? There's something missing in that chain of command.
Dude, I said this 2 weeks ago. You guys thought I was crazy.
I don't know if it's Howie though. I don't know who it is, Dom, but there's something.
But like if you're but that's the thing. It doesn't matter who it is. If Howie's the one in charge, you're the leader of all these guys in that room. You have to take the most accountability. If it doesn't work, you're the face of the operation. So you're the one that should be blamed the most because it's your operation. I just don't know how they went into this season and said, "Yeah, this defense is good enough." Like I just like, and I know they counted on Dean to be healthy. I know which was a crazy thing. They went in with one guy who was an okay safety in Blankenship. They paid 2 old cornerbacks.
Well, that's the thing is I don't think they expected the fall of Bradbury that quickly. Like I don't think they realized how bad he was going to be this year.
But you also have to remember he's 33 years old.
Sure.
A 33-year-old cornerback, or however old he is. Older cornerback that you just gave all this money to.
Sure.
And then you let the 2 most important guys walk.
Yep.
And I also think that Bradbury has a bad season, right? We can all agree he has a bad season.
Sure. Yep.
But how much is it on the defensive line rotation and them not getting to the quarterback?
And it's lack of linebackers. It's lack of safety play. It's lack of guys staying on the field. I don't think Bradbury was okay. It was good last year. He wasn't great, but he was good because he had the defensive line that got there. He had the safeties behind him. He had the linebackers. Made him a lot better.
Yep.
But that's also on Howie is you didn't bring those guys back, so now you were accountable for re-signing Bradbury without those guys.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm gonna throw my hands in the air because your mic went out again. I don't know what's going on with your.
Oh, did it?
Your shit. Yeah, I don't know if it's your internet or if it's the plug that plugs in somewhere. I don't know.
I
Don't
just
worry
unplugged
about
and plugged back in.
All right, don't worry about it. We'll be all right. It's just something I have to fight through and not mention every single time. But no, the reason why. So before last night's game, I think I was not on necessarily the Fire Sirianni train, but I think it's obvious Sirianni's not really an X's and O's guy. He's a
But that's
get
okay.
the guy. No, I know it's okay, but he's a get the guys ready to play, motivate, that kind of guy. When they're that unready to play and they look that poor and that sloppy and that uninspired, to me that comes down to the head coach who's supposed to be the motivator.
I don't disagree with that.
But also, can I just talk from I'm not going to bring up what I do, right? But I do manage people, and I manage people that make salaries, right? And they have a job.
Before you go on, you're going to be like the guy that's like, that went up to my lot and like, you got to block like this.
No. I manage people, right? And my job is to get people motivated and ready to go. But where's their self-motivation? That's a character flaw in people on the team. If you can't be a self-motivated individual to get stuff done, that just goes to tell me that some of the guys are really, and they do have to secure a financial future, but it sometimes is just dollars and cents.
I don't disagree with that either, but that you set the tone in training camp, as the coach, and as this keeps going on, you have to be able to make adjustments. And I've talked on here the last 2 years about how he's made adjustments, and he hasn't done it this year. So That set
Why
you set the
though?
tone.
What is the reason why? Like
What's the reason why what?
that he has made adjustments before. I mean, we seen him his first year. We praised him for that. He
Well,
went in,
was it him making the adjustments, or was it the coordinator?
That's what I was
going
gonna
to
say.
but the first year it wasn't. Steichen wasn't here the first year.
Yeah, he was.
Was he?
He's the first 2 years. Yeah, the first 2 years of Sirianni.
All right, well, but the first year, Sirianni went back to what worked and ran the ball. Like you remember that? Like they were not winning the game by passing the ball. They went to running the ball and they started winning the game. Like the reason why I think Dom, me and you at the beginning, we liked Sirianni a lot. Like I remember we used to text about it because he wasn't Doug Peterson, where he was snobby about, well, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And that's
but I think
he made the in-game adjustments.
Sure, and Peterson also had more decision making when it comes to calling plays and all that. Like he was kind of he did that way more than Sirianni
But
did.
what happened? Where did that go?
Where did what go?
Where did the ability for Nick Sirianni to feel empowered to make decisions go?
But that's the problem. Is I think that from the things that I've read today, and even a little bit yesterday, was the fact that there are players in the locker room and people that are around the locker room that think that he's still not necessarily calling plays, but has a little bit more influence on the play calling than when Steichen was here. So like, whether it's okay, Brian Johnson, this is my scheme and you have to adjust to it, and if you don't adjust to it, like, you know, too bad. Like I don't know what it is, but I think that's the problem. Is he didn't have to be that guy with Steichen, where he had to be that guy with Johnson. And we saw his first year here, the first 6 weeks of him, or 8 weeks of him being the head coach, he called the plays, and they were horrible. And then if you remember his first year, they came back at the end of the year, made the playoffs in the second to last week, and they sat everybody against the Cowboys on a Saturday night game, and then they went to Tampa and lost. So like, he knows he can't call plays, and that's fine. Like, you can look at the top 5 coaches in the league: Belichick, Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, Harbaugh, and whoever else, the fifth guy. They don't call plays, but they get their guys ready every week. We've seen these guys come out these past few weeks saying practice just isn't, we're not getting everything out of practice. What you practice is what you put on the field, and they've looked like shit the last 7 weeks, 6-7 weeks. So like, and then you had the complaints with Chip Kelly was like when practice was too hard. You have to be able to find that medium if you want to be successful in this league. So I don't know.
I agree with that.
I think where they're stuck at right now is, I think Jeffrey Lurie's got a hard decision to make. Like, is it because if you fire Sirianni, you're not in contention next year for
That's not necessarily true.
It depends on that defense needs a lot of work. Like a lot.
It does.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. Let's say they fire him, right? You don't think there's any way that they could compete next year? Like, what if they bring in a guy that has experience as a head coach? Vrabel
or Belichick. Yeah.
Well,
Ron Rivera. I don't want Ron Rivera.
I'm just saying, like
an established
guy
veteran
that's been
head
around
coach.
for a while.
Are we talking about for the division or for like a Super Bowl run?
Well, I think it's Super Bowl or nothing.
So I don't think they would be able to. I think that it takes more than a year to be in somebody, because it's going to be a new offensive system. It's going to be a new defensive system. Like it's new core. Like I could imagine if it goes that way, wide receiver coach is new, quarterback coach is new, linebacker. It's all new. And I feel like that's a lot in 1 year for us to expect.
Yeah, but I think football is the quickest.
It is
like turnaround for in sports. Like I think any year things could get better.
But I'm kind of in the middle of you guys. I
think
it's the quickest turnaround, but it doesn't happen in 1 year usually.
Sure.
Like the Falcons were like the worst team in the league, and then 2 years later they were in a Super Bowl. So like,
sure,
it happens quicker than any other sport. But it doesn't just take one.
But that's also the thing is, like you said, the Falcons were the worst team in the league. Although the Eagles played like it in the last 3-4 weeks of the season, like one of the worst teams. I don't think genuinely they're the worst team in the league.
That's the thing is they may be a linebacker and safety away from being closer to what they were last season. I don't know if they become that again.
And listen, the defense needs a lot of work.
And an offensive coordinator.
The defense needs a lot of work.
Coordinator.
The defense needs a
Right.
lot of work. I get it. I think the offense is the bigger issue because you have so much talent. If you find a coordinator and think, somebody that can mix things up and get creative, I think the offense could explode next year. I really do. I genuinely believe that.
I think if they fire him, they have to go after Vrabel
For
because
offense?
no,
Or, oh,
You saw about
no,
if they
for the
stop
head
firing
coach.
Sirianni. Yeah.
Yeah, if they fire Sirianni, I think they have to go for Vrabel because of how soft this defense is. We saw yesterday and all year how soft they are at tackling. If you bring in a guy like him, like a defensive-minded head coach, a guy that brought the Titans to an NFC Championship game 3 years ago,
With
and he's
Ryan
in the
Tannehill,
playoffs
was it?
with
Yeah.
with the 25th best quarterback in the league or whatever he is, I think that's impressive. And I think if you bring in a hard-nosed defensive guy like that to this type of defense, it might not be so successful, but it's probably better than what it was this year.
Sure.
And
Look
you're
what
bringing in better, hopefully bringing in better players next year. Plus, it's just picking the right offensive coordinator. If you bring in Vrabel, you could throw anybody at defensive coordinator, like that title. He's running the defense. So
Sure, look at what Campbell's done to Detroit. Even
Right.
even the new Raiders coach that they had the
Belichick.
first or the second half of the season, the Raiders coach. He got them playing well and like just a defensive guy
Pierce,
that yeah. Just a defensive guy that wants your defense to punch the other team in the mouth.
It just comes down to finding the right offensive coordinator if you go with a defensive minded coach.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's like the same thing that you guys are saying, except I hope Vrabel comes as a defensive coordinator.
He's getting a head coaching job.
Yeah, I think he's getting a
I
head
don't
coaching
think
job, too.
he hasn't gotten any requests for interviews or hasn't interviewed at all yet.
Well, he just got fired 2 days ago.
No, it's been longer than that.
Well, I thought it was over the weekend they fired him.
I
No.
think it was longer than that. But at the same time, I think I've said this last year. I think the hiring process for coaches is dumb. Maybe he's waiting to see what teams are out of it or whatever before he starts accepting interviews. Like maybe a team's still in the playoffs that you never know. Maybe the Eagles' job becomes available. Who knows? But coaches get hired so quick in the NFL. I think it's not a bad thing when they kind of pump the brakes and are a little more patient.
I don't disagree with that. I think Vrabel, Mike, you and I have agreed way too much tonight.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I like there are a couple jobs that are sexy. Like the Eagles is somewhat. You have the Cowboys that you're
I think
waiting
the
to
Chargers
see if
are.
they-
I know they've had problems, but like
They
I think
fired,
the Chargers are.
they fired Vrabel 8 days ago.
Okay.
I'm just and he
Yeah.
hasn't done any interviews yet.
I thought it was quick. I thought it was a couple days ago, but yeah, I don't know. I just think he could be waiting for Dallas. He could be waiting for the Eagles. He could be waiting just to see what is out there. And I know it doesn't usually go that way. Usually you're interviewing right away.
Yeah.
But because Belichick interviewed with Atlanta yesterday, right?
Yeah,
Was it Atlanta and
That's
the
interesting.
Chargers, I believe.
dude. No, Atlanta and Carolina.
Was it Carolina? I could have swore the
Yeah.
Chargers were reaching out. Maybe I misread.
The Chargers-
No,
Harbaugh.
Chargers are Harbaugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
I think that Atlanta's going with. I think Belichick's going to Atlanta too. I think that's like a.
They're
sign.
honestly they're closer than people think. Atlanta.
What? Oh yeah,
To
but
compete in.
Bijan, dude,
Yeah.
Bijan by himself, and then you have Drake London out there, and you have.
They're
Yeah,
closer than people think. Even defensively.
I still think you need a quarterback.
They're going to take
Well,
a quarterback
sure.
this year.
Yeah, well, yeah,
They got the 8th pick. They're going to take the kid from LSU, that Jaden Daniels.
yeah.
That's why I'm saying I think they're closer than people think they are because of how bad their quarterback play was this year.
Their defense is good.
If you get a quarterback, their defense is better than people think.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
They
yeah.
got a great kicker too.
Yeah,
Younghoe
Young
Koo.
Hope. Yeah.
and a pretty bad division where like if they do get even better, I mean it's a pretty winnable division.
Yeah. So
Dom, were me and you texting about AJ Brown? About the whole he
which
went-
day?
Well, the day where I was like upset about him not reaching out to the fans and saying like
Yeah.
So did you see he wound up going to the Eagles publicist, like their PR department, and he basically told them like, hey, I need a break from social media. It's nothing against the
Okay.
Eagles or anything. So he did
That's what I thought. Yeah.
he did do his due diligence and do that.
Right. He did it last year too in the playoffs. He deleted everything Eagles related. I just he's that type of guy. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any thoughts about AJ Brown right now.
What about Jason Kelsey? You have any thoughts on Jason Kelsey, Mike?
Is that
Uh,
official yet?
not
He-
technically, no.
He told the players in the locker room.
That
Well-
got
well, that-
refuted
yeah.
by Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham said that never happened.
It kind of looked like it walking off, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was taking it
Yeah,
all in. He was emotional.
He was
But,
crying walking into the.
According to Brandon Graham on WIP this morning, said that Kelsey went in and said, "Guys, I got a lot of tough decisions to make." Basically, said his goodbyes, but didn't exactly say I'm retiring. He just said, "I got some things to talk about," basically, or I got some things to think about. So he refuted that report that he said he's retiring.
He refuted it. But then did you see the cryptic post that Fletcher Cox put out?
No, I did not see this. Where was that at?
Fletcher Cox put out on his Instagram a picture of him, Kelsey, and Brandon Graham walking to the
Yeah, I
center.
saw that.
And they're all
no, I
and
didn't
put,
see
like
that.
the three saluting.
Well, I think
Okay.
Brandon Graham comes back definitely.
If they want him, he's back. Yeah.
Do you think he comes? Do you think he comes back, or do you think that, do you think that vet minimum he's back, or do you think he? I'm sorry. Do you think he comes back to the Eagles, or do you think he's playing in the NFL next year?
He wants to come back to the Eagles.
No, I think he comes back to the Eagles. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I didn't. Did I read that right today? That
He said
this is
he
probably going
wants
to be his last year.
he wants this to be his farewell tour. He always had a dream of playing 15 years in the NFL. So next year he wants to be his
I think it'd be
official
cool.
farewell tour.
I don't care if he's the worst defensive end in the league. I think it'd be criminal not to
I agree.
bring him back next year.
I agree.
Well, that's what I'm
And
saying.
I think he does it cheap enough.
Stop agreeing with me. I don't like it.
That's what, do you think he does it with the Eagles? Right? He's not.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Going to go do
Yeah.
his farewell tour with. He goes and he sees Kansas City needed.
It would feel weird. It would feel weird. I don't know.
He's got his Super Bowl ring. He's I think he's looking to come back for his 15th year with the Eagles.
I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
and a vet minimum.
I don't know if he
I
gets
don't
a
know.
vet minimum,
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
but I don't know that he commands a lot of money either.
What did he make this past season? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
I don't.
I know Cox made like $13 million.
That sounds about right. Let me see if
So
I
I
can
think
Yeah, I,
find
think,
it.
I, was gonna say, I think Cox is like 12 and change. Yeah, like close to 13.
Brandon Graham made his
8.
cat. Hold on. I'm confused. I hate NFL contracts. I can't even. I don't know what the hell's going
There's
on.
100 dummy years at the end of it
Oh, right, exactly. He signed a 3-year contract with $40 million total.
this year.
No, that was
No, that was like 3 years ago, right?
yeah. I guess it'd be 3 years
Because he's
ago.
a free agent. Yeah.
3 years, 40. So 13 million a year. I know it's probably he didn't get 13 million this past year.
No, did he come back on a 1-year deal?
I thought so, right?
Hold on. Yeah, it's
I thought he had a 1-year deal this year.
I'm telling you, football contracts are so weird. Like it says he's under contract until 2027. I think that doesn't make any sense. So that's why it doesn't make sense. I don't know what's going on.
A 1-year, $5 million contract.
Why can't that just be an easy thing for me to find?
It's on over the cap. And then there's 4 void years for salary cap purposes.
Yeah, like that's football contracts are stupid. Most complicated cap in the world.
And his evaluation for this next year is 3.3 million.
I think that's
Sure. That's about right.
doable. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think that happens.
Dude, it is crazy how he structured these deals because it doesn't hit against the contract, but even if he signs this year for 1 year, $3 million, they still owe him from his previous contract $8 million this year coming out. So it'd be a 1 year, $3 million deal, but it would really be a 1 year, $11 million deal.
They got to simplify the contracts in NFL. They're way too complicated.
They should just follow the Dodgers. Let the Dodgers.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that's
Yeah, pay Brandon
kind of
Graham
what
until
they're
the year 2038.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Why
kind
not?
of I don't know if that's good or bad for sports, or at least baseball really, but that's a different conversation for a different day.
It really is. What the Dodgers are doing is, I think, going to fix contracts the next CBA.
You think?
I think I don't think.
What do you mean- what do you mean
baseball likes- I think they're gonna make more
Get rid
rules
of that?
against. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe not like
Stop!
get rid of it. Maybe maybe not get rid of it completely, but I think they'll find ways to tone it down significantly.
Dom, I'll help you here. Dom, don't you love Bryce Harper?
Love Bryce Harper.
I
right,
love
well, now
Bryce
you
Harper too. No complaint. No complaints here. That's yeah,
And you hate
but
Gabe Kapler, right?
Dude, I saw a picture of him today. Somebody, I forget who it was. Somebody on Twitter
Harper
said,
or Kapler.
Harper.
Okay.
It said, this is the only guy that could save the city. And I just thought to myself, do you not remember what happened 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Like, we forget that quickly?
Yep. We certainly do.
The only guy that
Because I looked at it and I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And he played linebacker.
Right.
the only guy that can save the city is number 21 on the 76ers.
We'll see.
And Matvey Michkov. Maybe. Hopefully.
Is he
Assuming he
the-
doesn't get drafted into war.
Yeah, is Dom gonna go get him yet?
Yeah. Well, listen, after what happened with the Cutter Gauthier stuff, we need to get him over here so he doesn't change his mind either.
Yeah.
Did you
He's
see what
gonna-
Hartnell? I know we're still talking to Eagles, but like, did you see what Hartnell said today?
I
The
did.
other
Yeah.
day?
He was on the Spit and Chicklets podcast.
Yeah.
Today's episode, yesterday's episode.
Something like that.
I listened to it today. Yeah, I did.
It-
We can talk about it later or now, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, whatever. We can do it later.
All right.
Let's still bitch about the Eagles.
Yeah, I was gonna say. The one thing is like back to the play calling and all that, and like the first two plays of them being on offense, they give the ball to Swift and has pretty decent success. 2 solid runs to start the their drive, their first drive, and then he ends with a total of 4 carries. What's that about?
That's been the identity too, like for this team compared to last year, how they ran the ball so much. Like they just go away from it. Like if you want to sum up the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles, it's 3rd and long in the red zone. So let's throw a screen, or let's run the ball early and let it work, and then we just abandon it. Like that's the identity of this team this year.
You forgot one. 3rd and 2, all out blitz coming, run post routes.
Right.
Don't run.
Just throw it up. Yeah.
That's the other thing. How often the Bucs did it a numerous amount of times in that game, but like how if a quarterback sees a blitz coming before the snap, he'll drop back 2 steps and throw a little slant route or a little drag route. They don't do that. They just
do
refuse
not.
to just throw it over the middle.
No, they don't. They do not run slant routes. I don't understand why they don't.
It's football 101.
It really is. That's like the number one way to beat a blitz.
How did Tampa Bay beat us yesterday? Across the middle.
Right.
Pick shots across the middle.
Yep.
Make them tackle you.
Yep.
It's just it's
That's
pitiful.
that's the infuriating part.
That's to me, that's coaching.
I agree, but coaching on Sirianni or coaching on Brian Johnson,
Both.
that's
Yeah,
Well,
but
no. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Where's Jalen Hurts? You have to know a blitz is coming. You have
Yeah,
to.
but he doesn't
He's been
call the
doing it
plays
all
though.
day, Yeah, but he can't audible it. They said he can. He has an audible. He can audible at the line.
I mean, that's an issue too. There are a lot of issues I've had with him this year too.
Like you can't know that a blitz is coming. They've been blitzing you all year. 3rd and
But
2.
they also never put guys in motion. They never put guys in motion to see what the defense is giving them either.
Yeah.
they did it. They put a guy in motion yesterday, and then you know what they ran a Kenny
screen.
Gainwell screen.
Kenny Gainwell, yeah.
It's like just because you ran a Kenny Gainwell in motion doesn't make it any better.
They did that.
Throwing a
They
screen
did
to
that
him.
they did that like 3 or 4 times yesterday. That exact play.
Yeah, it's
It was the
brutal.
first time they threw it to that guy, but like
Right,
they just have a guy standing out there doing nothing. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna harp on a really stupid thing. But did anybody see that they ran another screen route to Quez Watkins and he went the wrong way again?
Yeah,
I didn't.
He took it
I don't remember that
outside
play.
again when there was
he lost
room.
6 yards. Yeah.
Yep, and there was room inside.
Yeah,
That's coaching errors that just have not gotten fixed. Did you guys listen to the press conference? It was at 1 a.m. I was up. I listened to it.
I heard a little bit this morning and today.
Yeah, I
and-
listened
and-
back.
and this
I listened
afternoon.
back to it today. Yeah.
Did you hear Nick Sirianni talking about tackling?
I did not.
He talked about them not being able to do it during the year, and it's really hard to simulate it. And
Not being able to do it because they don't like to, or just because the NFL rules don't allow it?
No, they're not. They don't do it because it's not good football. It's not good to do that to your players during the year.
Again, it's the idea that all right, Sirianni doesn't have a hard enough practice. Chip Kelly had a too hard of a practice. You have to find that balance.
Yeah.
You have to be able to find that balance somehow.
Yep.
Dom, I just think that like all these leaders, Fletcher Cox, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, these guys that have a C on their jersey come out and have been telling us for 6, 7, 8 weeks that like practice just isn't, it's just another day. There's nothing really going on in practice. They've been telling us this. It's kind of like they're sending a signal without actually saying it.
Dude,
and nobody's picking it up.
It's like the cliche that you learn when you're 5, 6, 7 years old. You play how you practice. It's that simple.
And that's what they've been saying is like we're playing how we practice. How is this not being talked about? I don't understand.
Yeah.
The other thing that I don't know if we talked about this. Yeah, we did. The player only meeting, when a team has this many in a year, that team doesn't usually fare well, right?
No,
we should have known that.
But you could also point to coaching too, though. Like, why do you have to have 3 players meetings?
Yeah,
because you're losing your locker room.
After the game, it didn't sound like the team quit on Nick, though. They were asking them about that.
Did you hear what Hurts said?
Yeah.
I thought that was a little weird because
about what? What did he say? Refresh my mind.
He said something along the lines of, I've heard all the noise outside of the locker room. I'm familiar. I'm paraphrasing, but I've heard all the stuff. I'm familiar with the stuff that's being said outside the locker room.
So we listen to Phired Up.
And then somebody asked them, well, do you and again I'm paraphrasing, but like, do you think Nick's job is safe or whatever, or do you think Nick will be back next year? And he responded basically saying like, oh, I didn't hear that one. And then
no, that's not what he said. He said
that's what I heard on the radio.
No, he said I didn't know he was going anywhere.
Right, but before he said that, that's what he said. He said something along the lines of, I didn't. That's one that I didn't hear, and then he said that quote.
So he heard everything outside of the locker room, but he didn't hear the one thing everybody's been talking about for the last 4 weeks.
Right.
I watched the press conference. I really, really have an issue with Jalen Hurts' press conferences. They are so mundane, and he just repeats the same. It's not even so. Like he talked about yesterday, progress, and he just keeps every sentence he says is just a repeating of the sentence before in just a new way of saying it.
Yeah, but
the whole team. Sorry,
no, go ahead. I have mixed emotions about that because, like, when he was doing the same thing when he was winning a bunch of games and up for an MVP, like none of us cared about his press conferences.
But because he's winning games,
sure, yeah, no, I get it, but
I think it's funny because I agree, Chris. Like, I think it's funny because like the rest of the team is like we suck. Like, they come out and like we flat out suck, and every week he's coming back. Oh, we just have to believe in ourselves and this, that, and the other. It's just the same thing every week.
We just have to learn. We're not where we need to be yet.
Yeah. We'll find it. Yeah.
We haven't hit our true potential. Like, dude.
Yeah, I remember, last year, it's, during the whole run and everything, it's where we kept talking about him always wanting to get better and how we feel like he held himself accountable. I don't know that he does anymore. Like, I don't know that he does.
Well, that's what we're saying. Like,
You're right. I know. Yeah.
I think it's just fluff that he says because he came from the Nick Saban school of just
fuck the media.
Yeah, don't give them too much. Yeah. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, what did Nick Saban call the media? Rat poison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also, Jalen Hurts, said something like that really was like, in my mind, I was like, let me take this quote down that he said. He talked about it not being the Eagles' year as if it's up to chance if you win the Super Bowl. Like, it was not, he said it's not
destiny.
It's not our turn yet, is what he said. As if there's a script and you didn't get picked out of the hat this year. Not that you didn't perform well, and that's why you guys didn't win.
Yeah, I was gonna, or take it instead of it being handed to you. Take it.
Yeah, like I was like, what kind of Walt Disney World quote is this? It's not our turn yet. Like it's not your turn. There's people in Philadelphia that like go out and buy your jersey.
What
because
what
they-
what colors is the Super Bowl logo next year?
Did they put that out yet?
Look it up. Put money on that.
Yeah.
I don't understand that aspect. Like it's not our turn. Like it's not fair. Basically, is what he was saying. Like last year was close, but that wasn't our turn either. He said that too. Like no, you lost because
Yeah. I guess I guess he just means destiny. Like that, it just wasn't, their destiny this year.
yeah, but
I think that's more what it is.
again, if he's this accountable leader, where you talk about like making plays, it's not destiny. Go
I mean, I know what you mean. Manifest your destiny. I understand. I understand what you mean. I just, I understand what he was trying to say. I don't necessarily say I agree. I'm saying I agree with it. I understand what he's trying to say. Again, I don't agree with it. So
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not there yet with like I'm not ready to say Jalen Hurts stinks, right?
Oh, no,
or
I don't
any of
think he
this. Like
stinks. I just want him to actually, if he's saying all the right stuff, do the right stuff behind the scenes.
how do we know he's not trying to do the right stuff behind the scenes?
Because he's not showing up in a game. Like
Maybe he's just not that guy that we thought he was.
Yeah, but
Is that possible?
The mental errors are just like taking that.
But he's always made those mental errors though.
Not a safety, not a.
Well, no, yeah, that was incredibly dumb. I agree. Yeah,
like
that was dumb.
That's even stupid for like Jamarcus Russell. He wouldn't even do something that stupid.
Dan Orlovsky
Yeah.
runs out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah, he's always been kind of careless with the football. Maybe the interceptions number have gone up this year from last year, but like he's always fumbled the ball. He's always dealt with turnovers. He's always made costly decisions. And maybe he is putting in the work, behind the scenes, and it's just not improving. Which then, if that's the case, I think you got a big issue.
Yeah, it's a huge.
Like
issue.
maybe he's not. Maybe he's not who we thought he was.
But you can also point it to coaching too, because we
Sure.
saw last year under a really good offensive coordinator how he was able to succeed, and he regressed this year under an offensive coordinator that 99% of the city has hated. This year. So like, I'm not ready to sit there and say like, and I'm not saying you guys are saying this at all. I'm just not ready to sit here and say like, let's move on from Hurts, or let's go in a different path, go in a different direction. I just want to. I think you need to bring in the right guy.
And then what happens if the guy you bring in isn't the right guy?
Then I think I mean I don't know. Let's cross that bridge when we get there.
Sure.
I think that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing you think about yet. I think you have to get to there before you can have that decision.
When do the Eagles fire Brian Johnson?
It should have been at 11:30 last night. Whatever time the game was over, it should have been happened.
Is it because this is like real speculation? Is it because they're hoping he gets a job somewhere and the Rooney Rule kicks into effect and they get a third-round pick out of it? Like, are they that type of team to do something like that?
Also, too, I don't disagree with that because it also doesn't make them look bad. Like if
Yes.
oh, they fired Brian, and I don't think it would make them look bad necessarily, but maybe they think
No,
that
it's negative attention.
yeah, let's see if he gets hired before we fire him.
This is why, like, on the surface is going to sound bad. This is why I think the Rooney Rule is dumb. Like, I understand what they're trying to accomplish with the rule, but you can't tell me you've watched the Eagles play this year and tell me Brian Johnson should be a candidate for a head coaching job. These teams are simply just giving him a bullshit interview. What's
Dude,
Not necessarily.
the Titans like are actually in on him.
so you're going to go from Vrabel to Brian Johnson?
Dude, I don't know. I have no clue, but the Titans are in on him.
Also, the Titans being very much in on him are kind of about to go through a rebuild, so
Yeah.
that could be a part.
So you're
of it.
hiring him to lose, basically.
Yeah, just like Gannon.
Are you going through a rebuild though? Like you have this new up and coming quarterback. You're hoping that's good. Like,
Well,
but
yeah,
if you go
because,
through a rebuild now, he's gonna be. I don't know. He's gonna
but
be.
we just talked about how it's the quickest rebuild.
It is. Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
You can hire a coach. There, who was the coach that got hired last year? He was fired 8 weeks into the season or whatever it was. Like,
oh yeah, who was that?
that happens.
Yeah. I forget who that was.
Or
but yeah, I
it
do
might have been
remember.
10 weeks into the season, whatever it was, 13 weeks. Like that shit happens. Like, was it the Saints? Not the Saints.
No.
The Chicago maybe last year. Like, no, it was Denver.
No, it was
Denver, or-
what's his name? It was Carolina. It was what's Temple's coach? Rule,
Rule.
wasn't it? Yeah, wasn't it Rule?
No. Last year was
He's coached this
I
season,
think last
right?
year was Denver, wasn't it? The
I thought it was Carolina because they had Bryce
Yeah,
Young. It was this year, wasn't it?
Hackett, Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, it was Denver because the whole offseason with the Jets going back to Denver or playing Denver with Rodgers and what's his face, Sean Payton, like there was that whole storyline. It was Hackett last year who got fired like.
Oh wait, no,
after
never mind. It was Frank Reich. He wasn't this year. Didn't he get
That was
fired
this
like
year.
10
That
games
was
into the
this year.
season?
I'm talking about
That's what I'm
last
thinking
year.
of. Not Rule.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
It wasn't Rule. It was Matt Reich. It was Frank Reich.
Right.
Who I was thinking of. Yeah.
Right.
never
So like
mind.
that stuff happens. There are guys that only last 2 years, and I think that
Sure.
they're looking at him like, okay, he's a young offensive minded coach. He's so far we've only ever seen him have one bad season. Maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe it's Sirianni who's the issue. We could hire him if it works out great. If it doesn't, see ya. I genuinely do think teams are genuinely in on him. I don't think it's necessarily the Rooney Rule. I think the whole Deuce Staley stuff in the past has been that the unfortunate,
yeah. Yep.
just interviewing because they have to. But
Eric Bieniemy's probably going to be looking for another job. You take him up here as an offensive coordinator?
OC, sure. He's so odd because it seems like he does pretty good things as an OC, and then every time he's a candidate to be a head coach, he gets interviews and just never gets hired. So I don't know if he's just a terrible interviewer, but
I'll take him as an OC.
Sure, yeah. I would consider that definitely. I think they look pretty. I think he was with the Commanders, right? I think they look pretty solid.
Cal looks good.
Yeah, I think they look pretty solid. And the Chiefs haven't been the same since he left.
Yeah.
well, they also don't have a lot of.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I get that. But not having Tyreek Hill definitely hurts him.
Is DeAndre Swift an Eagle next year?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think he's going to command too much money that they don't want to pay. I'm not saying he's going to command the money that Sanders did or Saquon once. Like, I'm not saying that, but I just think that they're going to do this for the next.
You don't
they're just
think-
going
you
to find
don't-
a plug-in guy because anybody can run behind that line. That's what I'm saying. Like, the whole
Can they?
Bijan
But
thing,
Kelsey's not here. Lane's a year old. Like, can anybody run behind the line?
as of right now, yes, sure. I mean,
You don't think Swift looks at it and is like, I kind of want to stay home, stay in Philly, and takes maybe a little bit of a
Not if it
discount.
happened this year, where he wasn't
What'd you say?
used. Not if it's not like how it was this year.
right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play for that team.
Yeah.
He hardly caught the ball too. Like,
Yep.
And I think if it's the difference between a lot of money, no. Like, why would I want to stay after all those issues? Like, I'd rather just go get my money. I'd rather go get paid $8 million, $8.5 million or $9 million than, 4.5.
So then their wish comes true that like Kenny Gainwell's their everyday back next year. Is that what
No,
happens?
they'll draft somebody.
I think they love Kenny G.
All right, here's
But
the.
we thought that this year, like week one,
They used him a
was the
lot,
guy.
man. They used him a lot. Not he wasn't the guy, obviously, but they used him a lot
When? Yesterday or the whole season?
the whole season.
No, they didn't.
No,
No, they didn't.
They used him.
No, they
he probably
They sure did
got,
not.
like,
Not as a rusher, but a lot of screens to Kenny Gainwell.
How much? All right, let's look up the numbers.
All right,
Let's look up the
fair
numbers
enough.
because they don't throw to any running back.
All right, hold on. It could be recency bias. I'd have to look up his stats. Hold on. So what am I looking at here?
you would look at
What,
Receiving?
receiving.
Yeah, receiving.
you would look at the amount of plays he was on the field and divide it by the total number of plays that the Eagles had this year.
I can't look at every play that he's played in this year. I mean, that'd be. I can't look at all this now. I can't. What do you want
Receiving
me to
yards,
look up, though?
30 catches for 183 yards. I bet you
Okay.
Swift had more.
Hold on, let me look. On the fly here. Receiving yards. You said I'm looking at
39 for 214. So no, they didn't use Gainwell that much.
Okay, fair enough. Receiving 39 for
I
214.
just said it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks.
You guys want to go through the list of free agents?
Sure. Usually the list of running back free agents is not that great.
No. See the Eagles free agents. See if
Oh, yeah, it's a pretty lengthy list from what I remember.
it's a very
Yeah.
bad list too.
But yeah, I was gonna say like
Very bad.
three or four of them are started.
It's very bad.
The rest are just like depth guys.
Yeah.
Fletcher Cox.
Do you have it in front of you? Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
Fletcher Cox.
I'm in the camp, and I think that I'm pretty sure you both have disagreed with me in the past, last few years. I'm in the camp that I think he should stay till at the right price. At the right price, he should stay till he retires. But I don't know if he does that. So
Last year, I would have said no. I think he was one of their better players this year.
I
Yeah.
do too.
I don't
So-
pay him $12.5 million, but
Sure.
I
Brandon
try to
Graham,
keep him. I try to keep him too.
Brandon
we
Graham's
already
gonna
talked
stay.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna
Okay.
stay.
Marcus Mariota,
See ya.
DeAndre Swift,
I think he stays. You two think he leaves.
Yeah.
Boston Scott.
Listen. He gets paid $1.5 million. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's.
Like,
I don't really care if
he's
he
the
stays or
fourth running
goes.
back. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Zach Cunningham.
Wait, are we saying this as if we want them back or if we think they will be back?
Either or.
Either, yeah.
Okay. Cunningham,
Zach
I
Cunningham.
think
I'd keep him.
I would keep him too at the right price.
I think he was pretty solid this year. He had a couple.
I still
Iffy
think you go-
moments,
I
but-
still think you go get another linebacker. Whether
Sure.
that's
Oh,
in the
definitely.
draft
Definitely.
or whether that's in the draft or in free agency or trade, and you kind of hope on Dean next year to be healthy and Cunningham be a depth guy.
Yep, I agree with
That
that.
brings us to the next person, Shaq Leonard.
No, see you later.
Yeah, I'd probably let him walk too. He had one good game. Was that
Yeah.
against the Giants?
Giants, yeah.
Yeah.
Sua Opeta.
The right price, he's a depth guy.
Yeah, it's,
He's going to have to be your guard next year.
No, I think it's gonna be Steen.
You think Tyler Steen's going to be the
Yeah.
guard?
I agree. Yeah.
Rashad Penny.
See, I
Nah,
mean,
see
see
ya.
ya. Yeah.
The fact that Rashad Penny was on the practice squad this long, or most of the season, and nobody picked him up, like
Yeah.
that just tells you what his value is.
Yep.
Olamide Zaccheaus.
First, I back to back. How many attempts did he even have this year? Over under like 2.5.
Over 2.5.
Was it
Yeah,
over
I
2.5
I think yeah.
attempts?
I think it was
under
double digit.
5.
Under
No,
five.
I think it's double digit.
Is it really?
Rushing attempts.
What game? Yeah.
I think under 5.
I'm looking it up right now.
I was just about to look it up. He had 6. He had 6 against the Giants. He had 11 attempts this year.
Yeah. I was gonna say 10. I was gonna say over under 10.5. Honestly,
11 for 33 yards. But I forgot about that Giants game. Yeah, that's fair. Because
Olamide
Swift didn't play
Zaccheaus.
and they were down by 100. Zaccheaus, keep Zaccheaus. I saw
I
enough
like
from
Zaccheaus. I like Zaccheaus, but I still think they need to go get a third receiver.
Yes, but at the same time,
He's a fourth
like
receiver.
Zaccheaus
That's
should
what I'm
be
saying.
above
In a special
Quez
team.
in the. He should be above Quez.
Well, that's
though.
what I'm saying. I hope they get rid of Quez because Quez is
Yeah.
a free agent too, right?
Yep.
I believe so. Yep.
You let him go, and I still think you should try to find a guy that's better than Zaccheaus. Honestly, I'd even think about. I like what Julio's done this year. I don't know if he's your third receiver, but
He's the moments he's been called, he was pretty good. I just didn't really see enough of him. Like they just didn't use him all that much.
that's that was the point. Like that's
Yeah.
what he
Would you go
he's
get
a
T.
fourth,
Higgins?
fifth guy.
Would you trade for T. Higgins?
No,
It's
you
gonna
have to give
cost-
up too much,
Exactly. Yeah, it's a
and you
thing.
got to pay him.
Right.
Braden Mann.
That's why they're gonna let him go. Who is it?
Braden Mann.
I'm sure. Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
Jack Driscoll.
The only problem with what I like him, sure, but they never keep those backup offensive linemen. They usually let them walk.
He'll go start somewhere. He'll
Yeah,
start
right.
somewhere.
He's good enough too.
And they'll draft offensive line to replace the depth guys.
Yep.
Sean Bradley.
Was he hurt this year?
He was hurt this year. He tore his ACL.
Who cares?
Quez, you're both out on.
Yeah, out.
And Jack Stoll.
Is he tight end? Jack
Yeah,
Stoll?
tight end. Yep.
He hasn't done anything either.
No, I mean any
doesn't
game
play.
Goddard's been out, the tight end position was dreadful. So I don't know. Find a different
Ventura
backup tight end.
had a good catch.
He was okay.
Or
Yeah,
two.
he was all right.
I think he
here
had
or
2
there.
catches this whole year,
Yeah.
and 2 were two really good catches.
Yeah.
That's also another thing that they've lacked the last few years is finding a decent backup tight end,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a number 2,
Right.
They had Richard Rodgers. He used to
who I
be
liked.
with it.
Yeah,
He would.
And then they had the dude that just kept getting injured, Jackson.
Yeah, Tyree Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah, Tyree Jackson.
But Richard Rodgers would get signed to the practice squad, and then he'd be on the team on Sunday, and then he'd be released on Monday.
Yeah.
And signed back to the practice.
And he was the perfect backup because he could block and catch the ball.
Yeah.
That's really what
Yeah.
you look on your backup tight end. I know, today it's a little different. You have to be able to catch the ball, but I think finding a nice guy like that where you could do a little bit of both is
Okay.
very valuable.
You guys want to know the top 10 NFL free agents and if you're in on any of them?
Okay.
Sure.
Not that the Eagles might have enough money to get all the any of these guys, but we'll see.
Leonard Williams.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay. Chris Jones.
No, probably not.
Because
He's
how
probably gonna want
old?
Too much money.
How old is he? Like is he 30
He's
yet?
probably about 30. Yeah,
Yeah.
if I had to guess, he's probably 30, 31.
Like
He's
that
a
could
top
be
guy at his position.
He's a top.
but-
He's a top guy, but when you start reaching 30, 31, he's gonna want top dollar, probably term. Like that's a big contract for a guy. That's who knows how many years at that position does he have left? I don't know.
Daniil Hunter.
Who's Daniil Hunt? Oh, the defensive end.
Minnesota, yeah. Pass rusher.
Yeah. It's tough because I don't know what they do at the pass rushing position. Like Sweat has looked horrible the last 8 weeks.
Yeah.
What's the deal with
Sack
Hassan
yesterday.
Reddick? Like he hasn't really been himself this year either. He's had some good moments
think-
and he's put up decent numbers, but nowhere near what we saw last year.
I've been saying all year that I just think that they're all winded.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gassed.
There's nobody behind them to fill in. So
Mike Evans.
I would love Mike Evans, but he's gonna want a ton of money.
yeah, and I don't think you need a top receiver like that. Spend your money
Odell
somewhere
Beckham
else.
Jr.
Nah.
No.
Carl Lawson.
Carl Lawson, who's that?
He's the defensive end from the Jets.
I don't watch him enough to know.
I don't think they sign a defensive end. I think they draft. They try to
yeah.
draft.
These last 3 are interesting. Buda Baker.
I would. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
the guy this offseason.
Randy Gregory.
Maybe. Well, I think he's a good rotation guy. I think he gives you a lot of energy off of coming off the the bench
And
kind of thing.
Adoree Jackson.
Cornerback. I think they go with the young guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
After that, it gets like
I'm so scared of the paying cornerbacks. Like
You don't think they
You
sign
saw-
a
you
veteran
saw-
cornerback?
I think that they try to draft a guy, whether that's in the first or second round,
Yeah, but
and then
I think it's a big
they
criticism.
try Ringo. I do.
Yeah, but I think it's a big criticism we had, or at least I had, about Howie this year on defense. I think he put too much hope or trust or faith in the young guys that I don't know that they want to do that again.
Yeah, but you have these guys who are now coming into their second year.
Second year, no, I get it, but
Right. And that's the assumption that I want them to sign Buda Baker too.
Sure, yeah, fair.
Devin
So-
White, he's a free agent.
Devin White, defensive
Tampa Bay
end.
linebacker.
Oh, I think the first 2 rounds they go cornerback and linebacker, because how many times did we tell the Eagles like we need a receiver in the first round, and finally they went with Aguilar and Rager, and obviously they didn't work out, but they listened, and
Sure.
and I think and eventually they hit on Devontae, but I just think like now it's coming to a point where it's like they're gonna hear us, like we need a linebacker, we need a cornerback early in the draft, like.
There's some good players coming out here. They a little bit further down on the list. Micah Hyde,
Okay.
Okay.
Chase Young.
I'm not a Chase Young guy.
Yeah,
Personally.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, I don't know.
who's this other one that I just saw? He was down. Are you in for a CJGJ reunion?
I'm out on him because of his comments. I want nothing to do with him here.
That's the thing is I usually would be against him because of especially what he said last year and all that. But
Well, what he said today or
what
yesterday,
did he say today or yesterday? I
he
missed
blamed
that.
the fans. He blamed Eagles fans for that they didn't they didn't want me like this that and fuck.
Oh no, I didn't hear any of that. I was talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
like the split was kind of
It's
ugly.
like a big talking topic today.
Oh, I missed that. No, but I mean the split was kind of ugly when he left or whatever. But they missed him, man. They really did miss him.
Big
this year.
time.
Yeah. Anybody else on that list?
Nobody. Leonard Floyd.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Okuda.
Here's the question. What quarterback does he draft this year, Howie? Because he did it to Wentz. He's going to do it to Hurts again. What quarterbacks he draft?
None. There are none. The quarterback class sucks this year.
Honest question: Who do you think their backup quarterback is? Do you think they give it to Tanner McKee?
Tanner McKee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
I think it's good because then you don't have to spend money on a backup quarterback
Right?
under his rookie contract.
Yeah, because what's his name? Mariota's making like 7-8 million.
$8
Right?
million. Yeah.
Yeah.
He cashed out this year.
That's like the normal for backup.
For backup. Yeah.
No,
it
he
is.
cashed out for not doing. He held the
Oh yeah,
clipboard. Sixers won.
but that's what everybody does. That's what all backups do. Though they get paid
Embiid.
$8 million and hold a clipboard.
Embiid double.
Yep, 41. Put up 41 tonight.
All right, Dom, do you want to talk about? You guys weren't on the show last week. It was me and Mark, and 2 hours, not even an hour and a half before we go live, Cutter Goat Chase traded. I wanted to get your thoughts, Dom. Assuming we're all done talking about the Eagles. If you're
Yeah,
kind of
I
wrapping up.
think
anyway. All right.
I don't have to go to therapy this week now, so thank you guys. I can cancel that.
Yeah, you can. I'll send you an invoice. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was genuinely shocked when I first saw it. Because I thought it was like when I first saw the tweet, or it might have been on Facebook. I was like scrolling through Facebook and I saw that the Flyers, the official account, tweeted it, and I was like, why the hell would they trade him? So then I go to Twitter and I see all the reports that it's because the first reports were because of Tortorella. He didn't want to play with Tortorella.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, okay, well that's why they that's why they traded him. But kind of having a week to marinate a little bit, I'm still really pissed about it. I'm shocked. What shocked me the most about this trade, my own feelings, is this is one of the most affected I've been in a trade, and
About a trade.
yeah, about a trade, and he didn't even play a second here, so like.
Right. Yeah.
It's very weird to feel this way, but again, I've had a week to marinate. Let it marinate. Drysdale looked really good.
Really good. Missed the last 2 games, but he's
Yeah,
looked
but
good.
the first 2 games he looked really, really, really good. But yeah, I just shocked, really, honestly, about how everything played out.
Yeah, I legit thought it was a parody account when I first saw it. I thought it was like a fake account that was just making a trade up because it just seemed so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
Right.
yeah, I'm still angry. Like, I get it, it's his right or whatever, but just the way that he handled it and more information's coming out, and you mentioned earlier Hartnell was on Spit and Chicklets podcast talking about it.
Yeah, well,
what'd
what was said? I don't.
About on Hartnell or just in general?
It was in general. Like, do you know the whole? Do you know the story though of?
I know
him-
that he didn't want to be with a new GM, and they said they went over to Sweden. Right? Is that where he's
Yeah, they sent. Yeah,
The World
they did-
Juniors,
Yeah,
yeah.
World Juniors in Sweden. I think it was Danny. It might have been Keith Jones. It might have been Patrick Sharp, John Leclerc. A bunch of these legends go and try to talk to him. He basically has been ghosting them for a year. They
Which
won't return his calls.
the
and
fact that,
just
like,
ignoring him.
Leclerc and Sharp's American, right?
Yep.
You have two guys in the organization that are, and that's like in hockey, like that's a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you have two guys who are Americans who are trying to, and guys that Sharp has won Stanley Cups. Leclerc, is one of the best flyers in the history.
He
in their
might have
history,
won a cup. Did he win a cup with Montreal? I don't remember.
Who?
Leclerc.
Leclerc, maybe.
He might
maybe.
have.
But just the fact that you don't even give them the time of day is insane.
Yeah.
But I just kind of hearing all the stuff, I kind of think Hartnell probably hit the nail on the head.
That they what part?
I think that's the way it probably did play out.
I
And I
don't
said
know
that a
what
little
you
bit
guys are
last week.
talking about at all. Like, can you?
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I was kind of setting up like the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's so many things here. So basically, and Don, if I'm leaving anything out, let me know. But basically, It sounds like they've known about it for a year or whatever, and it sounds like I'm trying to think of the exact details. They drafted him back in 2022. 2022, yeah.
They take him number 5, 2022. Hartnell basically said that. So he was drafted by the old regime, like Chuck Fletcher and Dave Scott, the guys from last year. So Hartnell basically said, drafted by those guys. Danny B comes in the following year, which was this 2023 summer, and becomes the guy because he was the interim GM, and then in the summer they basically made him the full GM. So basically, he's saying that Danny B called him and said, I don't know what they promised you, but let's kind of the spot's not given to you. You have to earn it. And Hartnell basically said his whole life was probably a red carpet. Probably everything was handed to him. The spot was handed to him. You got the video?
Yeah. I do have the video. If you just want me to play this.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you heard the rumors about him?
Wait, hold
not
on.
wanting to sign?
So before we play this. This past week, there's been a lot of speculation about he doesn't want to play with Tortorella. He doesn't want to play with the rookie GM. All this, hasn't really come out and said.
And he refuses to say
anything,
anything.
right?
Refuses to say
Anything other than it's just a decision me and my family have. We've decided it's just not an option for me. So go ahead, you can play it.
Did you heard the rumors about him not wanting to sign? Was it rumbling around the organization?
Yeah, we knew from probably last summer that he just said no talks. His agent Kurt Overcharge or Overhart, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
he just said don't go see this guy. Don't watch him play. Don't reach out. He's done with you guys. And
they put a restraining order on them.
Basically, they sent up Sharpie and John Leclerc, one of the most decorated U.S. hockey players. Everything, John Leclerc, and this young punk is saying, "No, I don't want to talk to you." Have a little bit of respect, right? In the game of hockey of your elders. I think it maybe stemmed from before he went to World Championships. He wanted to sign there, and Danny B said, "Hey, listen, I just got the job. The interim tag was off," and he said, "Well, if I sign you, there's no guarantee that you're going to be on the team. You have to earn it, right? We're not going to give you a spot
Which
first
I love.
line left wing.
Yep.
If you don't earn it, you're going to go to Lehigh Valley in the minors and develop there. So we think maybe you should go back to college." And I don't know if he just got butt hurt by maybe that conversation and just kind of took it the wrong way and just said, "I'm not going to talk to you." But I don't know. I can't imagine my values and the person that I am saying I don't want to play for that hockey club because they said I can't be on the team or guaranteed a spot, right? Wherever team he's probably went has rolled out the red carpet for Peter Gauthier and the Flyers didn't. They wanted him to earn it. And I think he just kind of took that the wrong way.
Did you heard?
Yeah. So from now on, he's known as William Gauthier.
I like Billy Gauthier.
No, it's still too. I don't do nicknames anymore.
Okay,
We're going full William.
William Gauthier. The reason I like Billy is because I think you could just call him Billy Goat. He's a Billy Goat.
Yeah, so he didn't want to work hard.
Right, he just wanted to hand it to him,
And I still have the theory that there were things that came out last week too that Kevin Hayes had his fingerprints all over this. Even Tortorella came out in a press conference and called out.
Did either of you see that, Chris?
Yeah,
did you see this?
I did see that.
That was wild.
So I still think there was a hint of who Kevin Hayes was the mentor to Cutter Gauthier, like because he was still on the Flyers when the Flyers drafted him. I still think that did he probably say, "Don't go play for Tortorella"? I don't think so, but maybe they're on the golf course one day and he mentioned like, do you believe Tortorella was this way or that way, or like he's such an asshole? Like, good luck with him. And I think everything that's happened, that was happening already. Oh, they don't want to sign me. I have to earn my spot, and I got to play for like a guy that's probably my buddy thinks is an asshole. Like I think it's just a pile of things. Like
Is the guy here? Is there doesn't the guy here that caused Kevin Hayes a problem?
Yes.
You?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Do you think Kevin Hayes is going to do something like that?
Any last questions?
Person letting the first two buy him.
It pisses me off that you guys throw that around and affect someone's life. Kevin Hayes and I had a problem. We couldn't come to an agreement how to play. That's a good man. That's a good man. And what you said is going to stay with him. That's what you guys don't understand. You say something, and you're going to sit there and say you have the right sources. I call. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's great.
Is Tortorella the coach for the next couple of years?
I
thought it was a weird signing to begin with because of the way that the organization was supposed to be heading.
I have a theory that I haven't put out into the universe yet, but I think I'm going to. I think he will be the coach for the next 2 or 3 years, and maybe 2 years, and then I think the next Flyers coach is Bradshaw. Their current assistant coach.
Do you think Tortorella stays in the organization though?
I do. I think Tortorella will move up into the front office in some sort of executive role and some sort of advisor role. And because everything you hear about Danny Briere and John Tortorella is they love Bradshaw and the way he's working with specifically the defense corps, and how much they want to keep him, and how much they like him. Like they rave about Bradshaw. I don't think they want to lose Bradshaw. And my theory is he's the next coach of the Philadelphia Flyers.
He's like the OJ Mayo. Right?
Right.
Or not OJ
yes.
Mayo. Is that who it was that the Patriots?
His name not OJ, I don't think.
Rod.
Yeah, it's Matt. Yeah.
OJ Mayo is the
Yeah,
basketball
okay.
player.
Yeah, the old basketball player, yeah.
But that's my theory. I think Bradshaw is the next coach of the Flyers
and the
in 2 or
fact
3
that
years.
if he's got his hands on this defense right now, his fingerprints on this defense, Sanheim has looked great this year.
Yep.
Drysdale looked really, really good those 2 games. I know it's only been 2 games, but
Yep. Sean Walker revived his career. Yep.
yeah. Like
Nick Seeler.
When I was gonna say Nick Seeler, like Tortorella, the night that the trade went down, he literally said we're gonna have trouble, like
Yep.
figuring out who's gonna play defense. Like we're probably
so
gonna
many
go with 7
bodies.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Gauthier on the team? Anaheim?
traded him.
Yeah,
He's in
still
college.
at Boston. Yeah, he's still at Boston College.
So is all just because he just doesn't want to work hard.
Right. It's at the end of his college season. He'll probably sign his entry-level deal with Anaheim and play at the end of the year with them. If I had to guess.
Does the Flyers play them at the end of the year?
No, they don't. I already checked.
Yeah.
But did you see? A bunch of Flyers fans showed up to BC's game the other night?
Did they?
Yeah, decked out in Flyers gear, holding a bunch of signs. BC security didn't even let them in the arena for a little bit. They eventually let them in, but at first they didn't let them in.
Really?
Yeah, but they were just giving it to them, booing them, holding up signs. I love Philly sports fan. I love us. We're a crazy bunch.
So I think that, and this is just a theory. Everything that I've heard and read, I think that they draft him. So they signed Tortorella 2 weeks before they drafted him. I think they draft Gauthier. Chuck Fletcher says, let go play a year in college, and then you have a spot. You have a spot on the team next year. You know, at the end of your college season, which is like what, March usually, Mike, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like mid March,
Yep.
mid to late March. You can come up and play the last 12 games of the year. You have a spot. Fletcher got fired a day or two after the trade deadline when he didn't make any moves, which is in February.
Yep.
I think that's when Danny B came in and said that what Hartnell said. Like,
Yeah. I could definitely see it.
Yeah,
Because like their whole thing is
earn.
yeah, and their whole thing is establishing a culture. Like that.
Yeah.
That's what Danny B's talked about from day one. That's why they signed John. You know, that's why they hired John Tortorella. They wanted to establish a culture.
That's why
nothing's
Danny Briere
guaranteed.
and Keith Jones are here, because they're
Right.
trying to establish a culture
Right.
that those guys came into.
You have to earn your position. You have to earn
Yeah.
your spot.
They're trying to turn it back into the fraternity that it was.
Yep.
Nothing wrong
Nothing's
with
guaranteed. No, not at all.
They had so much success in our childhood. like what did they? I think they made the playoffs 19 or 17 of 19 out of 19 years of the first 19 years of my life.
that. Yeah.
That's a lot of success.
Yeah, it is, and it's just wild, like the way that it happened. That like right after they announced the trade, they went full court press in the media of a fuck Cutter Gauthier tour. You had Danny Briere did an interview in the middle in intermission, because it happened during the middle of a game. He did an interview. What's his name? Dan Hilferty, the CEO, when on the Snow the Goalie podcast, which is the reporter that called the Torts called out. And then I think you had Jonesy also on like the TV broadcast. They all went hardcore press or full court press on the fuck Cutter Gauthier train.
And then the report that came out yesterday, or I think it was, or over the weekend, or it might have even been today, was that most of the teams that they reached out to didn't want him.
And I don't know about most. I don't know about most teams, but there were teams, yeah.
Well, not that they didn't want him, but they didn't want him for the price tag that the Flyers were trying to sell him for, because of the way that the past years went down.
Did you hear who the Flyers were trying to get before they got Drysdale?
I know that during the draft they tried to trade with Montreal.
They tried to get was it fifth overall to get David Reinbacher, the defenseman that went to Montreal. But no,
I think that's all I heard.
They also were in talks with Colorado.
For
Bowen Byram.
Yeah, Byram. Yeah.
But the Colorado wouldn't do it 1-for-1.
Right.
So then the Flyers
what do you think about that? What was the better deal?
Byram's a better player than Drysdale, I think.
Right.
But Drysdale's still a damn good player. I'm still happy with the move. After like thinking about, because like I love Cutter Gauthier, but everything we've heard, it's like you didn't want to earn it, you didn't want to work for it. Like that tells you kind of all you need to know about the player you're gonna be. I'm fine with Drysdale at this point.
Both guys, Drysdale and what's his face?
Byram.
Colorado. Byram. They both have had like injury history, right?
Yep. Mm.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is, if Tortorella and Danny Briere go and run the Eagles will be doing okay.
Respectable.
And
respectable.
Respectable at least.
Yeah, if Sirianni ran the Flyers, Gauthier would have been starting day one.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. We figured it out.
Okay. All right. There's our solve.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. The Eagles should just hire Danny B.
Yeah.
And Jonesy.
Tortorella start yelling at them. Are you kidding me?
Right. That's what the team
They'll
needs.
start crying.
Is that reporter here?
Where's that guy?
All right. So
dude, he was like really quick. He was like a little kid in class that got called out by the teacher. Like,
I know. Could you imagine even answering, saying, "Yeah, that was me"?
Right.
I kind of respect it. I kind of respect it. Like you owned it. You're like, yeah, that was me.
He didn't even defend himself though.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
I don't know.
What do
you have the opportunity to talk back? Why not?
Respectably,
I don't even know if the Twits gave him the option to like talk back. Like there really was no like, do you have an answer for yourself? He ripped him a new one for 2 minutes, and then he went back to the reporter and said, "Sorry, go ahead." There's no chance to respond. All right, so I don't really have anything else Flyers wise. I mean, they won 3 games in a row. Nice road trip. That's all I really have. Second in the division.
When do they
by
play
the way.
again?
Thursday, I believe.
Are they home? They come back home yet? Or are they still in the?
They come back home. I think it's Dallas. Yep, home against Dallas on Thursday, and then home against the Avs on Saturday. So 2 pretty tough matchups.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get out of here, obviously didn't do against the spread last week.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, did we take a few weeks off? Did we do week 18? We might have. I don't have anything written down for week 18. We didn't do week 17, and we didn't do wild card week. So we've been slacking the last few weeks. So let's get back to it.
We did week 18.
Did we do week 18? I don't have it written down like our totals or whatever. I'll have to get an updated total.
All right.
Next week.
Where am I going?
But all right, so let me pull up the odds here.
What do you do? FanDuel, right?
Yep. I did end up putting a little bet in for the Bucks minus 6.5 on the alternate line, cashed
How much was that?
plus 300.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think I said it all like last week. I was floored that the Eagles were favorites. I really were.
You
I
did
really
say
was.
that. You did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You thought it was going to open up -4.
Is that what I said?
Hey, yeah.
No, I thought it was
Minus
that was
3.
me. That was me.
Yeah, I think I
Minus
might have
4.
said I think I might have said like 9.5 or some
Yeah.
shit crazy.
I said 4. Yeah.
All right, so NFL.
right.
All right, so who wants to go first? All right, actually, we'll just go game.
Yeah,
by
you
game.
gotta go game by game. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the Texans and the Ravens.
I'm gonna go Ravens minus 9.5. I think the Texans are good, but that's a really, really good defense. That's a young quarterback going against a really good defense. So I'm gonna go Ravens minus 9.5.
I'm going to go Texans plus 9.5. I think that's a really heavy line. Baltimore does blow some teams out, but they also play tight as well.
I agree with Chris. I think I'm going to go the Houston plus 9.5. All right, so then we got the Packers and the Niners.
What the fuck with these 9.5?
Also 9.5. I'm gonna go. Dude, Jordan Love looks good the last half of the season. I'm gonna go Niners minus 5, not minus 9.5.
I am as well. I think that the Niners have to flex.
Yeah. That's probably fair, honestly. All right. The Bucks Lions.
I'm taking all the favorites.
What's that?
So
6.5.
Minus 6.5. That's also what I'm doing as well.
I'll go Lions. I'll go Tampa Bay plus 6.5. I think that the Lions win the game, but I think
the Rams. I think the Rams. It was so close because the Rams were really hot. I just don't think the Bucks are that good.
I don't either, but I could see it being them being up by 12 and them getting a garbage time touchdown to make it, cover.
Yeah.
And then probably the game of the week, Chiefs at Buffalo. Patrick Mahomes played 15 playoff games. Every single one's been at home. This is his first road playoff game, which is kind of wild.
I think the Bills win by 3. 54-yard field goal.
54-yard field goal to win the game
with 3 seconds left.
Okay. If Dom, if you're right, then you play the lottery next week, all right?
I think the Bills win, but I think they win by 2 touchdowns. I think this is
the Bill. Wow, really?
I think they get exposed, the Chiefs, for not having good wide receivers this week.
Okay,
the rookie looks really good.
I do like him.
Yeah, I mean, against this defense, he probably doesn't, but he has looked good the last few weeks.
So everybody, I also have the Bills minus 2.5. So you both picked Bills minus 2.5, correct?
Yep.
All right. And then, do you guys want to go with a couple over unders or no?
We could. I mean, there's 4. We could do all 4 if you really want.
Do all 4? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Texans Ravens over 44, or the over under 44.
I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna go over.
Hold on, this is gonna. All right, well, I'll edit it later. Whatever. All right. So what did you guys say?
Under.
I'm going over.
So Dom's on. Okay, Dom's under. Chris over. I'm gonna go over. All right, Packers, Niners, 50.5.
I'm
Over.
going under again.
Dom's under.
Over.
Of course, over.
I think that's like a 49ers like 35-7 win.
Also 35-7.
Something like that.
I'm also going under as well.
Or 28-10. Like
Bucks, Lions, 48.5. I'm going under.
Under.
I just don't know what Bucks team we're getting. Are we getting the team that are we getting the Bucks that we saw this past week, or are we getting them what we saw last week when they won 9-0 or whatever?
The way I look at it is, it's hard to judge anything anybody does against the Eagles because, like, the Cardinals put up a ton of points. The Giants put up a ton of points. Like, teams just put up a ton of points against the Eagles. That's what teams do.
All right, I'll go under. I
I
guess.
talked you into it.
Yeah.
All right, Chiefs, Bills, 45.5.
I'm going over because I went on under and everything. So
I'm going under.
I'm going over because it looks like a game that should be over. But, who knows?
In Buffalo, in the cold. It might snow again.
True. Very true. All right, you guys got anything else before we get out of here?
nope.
I just saw that if the Eagles cut Byard, they save $13 million.
Okay, yeah, and I didn't really see anything from him
So,
this year.
Buddha.
So, Buddha.
yeah.
So, all right, we're going to get out of here. We'll see everybody next week. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And we will see everybody next Monday. See you then.